Hello again, all my food warriors. Coach Joe here again. Today we are making one of my absolute favorite dishes. It's very, very quick. These are Asian glazed chicken wings. Absolutely stellar. What I have here is about 5 pounds of mixed chicken wings. This is a mix of both the flat and the drumettes. Now, for about 5 pounds of chicken wings, this will easily feed a family of 4. And as we are getting into the season where training is starting to move outdoors, we start to come back a little bit later. This is a great dish because we can make this in 2 stages. So something to consider as we get into our summer training schedule. So all I have here, just naked chicken wings. All I'm going to do is I'm going to give these guys a little bit of salt and pepper. So we're going to sprinkle a little bit of pepper on top. I've got here a little bit of kosher salt. We're just going to give these guys a little sprinkle here as well. And then I have a little bit of oil. Now you can use whatever oil you like. Doesn't really matter. This is olive oil. All I want to do is get these coated because I'm going to start by baking these off in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix all of these so that they're well coated. I've got a couple of roasting pans here, just a couple of baking sheets, and on these baking sheets I've lined them with a little bit of aluminum foil. It's not necessary, but it does make the cleanup a little bit simpler. And then on that I've just put a wire rack. So two simple baking sheets here, a little bit of foil, a wire rack, and all I'm going to do now is I'm just going to mix up these chicken wings, get them coated with a little bit of salt and pepper. Now this is going to be cooked essentially in 2 stages. So what we're going to do is we're going to fully cook the wings in the oven, and then we're going to finish them off later in a pan with a very simple glaze. But I'm telling you, once you've had this, you are going to have this time and time and time again. Absolutely fantastic. It's got a little bit of sweet, a little bit of salty, a little bit of savory. Some interesting ingredients that some of you may not have had before, but you know what? It's always good to expand your palate a little bit as you try dishes from different parts of the world. And this is something that we tried a few years back, and we've never looked back since. One of the staples for us, and certainly you can cook these, or you can bake these rather, roast them off in the oven in advance, put them in the fridge, and then when you come home from the field or you come home from whatever event, it's just a quick glaze in the pan and you've got dinner on the table literally in about 15 minutes. So just something to consider as you're planning your weekly shop. So I've got these fully coated, and all I'm going to do is line these up on my rack. Don't want these to touch. You want to have a little bit of space in between them. But usually I get, out of a 5 pound pack, I'll usually get about three rows of each. There we are. So we want to give these just a little bit of space so they'll roast up nicely. The thing with chicken wings is they do have a little bit of fat in the skin. So what I really want to do here is just roast them off so the skin gets crispy. There's nothing worse than a rubbery chicken wing. From someone who's eaten a fair bit of chicken wings, let me tell you, there's nothing worse than a rubbery chicken wing. So we want to make sure that we roast these off so that the skin is golden brown. They're fully cooked through. There we are. And then the glaze just gives them a beautiful finish at the end. Like I said, this will easily feed a family of 4. Whenever we have this, we usually have this just with some crunchy vegetables, just some carrots, some celery, some cucumber, maybe some snap peas. And it just makes a great dinner. The wings are hot and sticky. The vegetables are cool and crunchy. Just an absolutely fantastic contrast. But like I said, a very, very simple meal, but one that you will make time and time again. There we are. So I'm just going to wash my hands. Anytime you're dealing with chicken or any kind of poultry, we want to make sure we wash our hands thoroughly. Lots of soap, lots of warm water. There we are. Now, when you do roast these off in the oven, I'm going to roast these off in a 450 degree oven because my oven is not convection, but if you do have a convection oven where you've got one of those little fans in the back that helps circulate the air, anywhere 400, 425 degrees on convection. And after about probably 25-30 minutes. You want to give these a flip, put them in for another 25-30 minutes until they are golden brown and the outside is just starting to get crispy. So I will see you in about an hour once I've got these fully roasted off, and we will finish these off in the pan. All right, we are back. It's been about an hour. These are our beautiful chicken wings right out of the oven. They're still warm, beautifully crispy, still moist. Beauty of this recipe, your house ends up smelling like a beautiful roast chicken, so you get those great aromas kind of wafting through the house. But now we're going to get right into finishing our dish. So we've got these, we're just going to put off to the side. We're now going to make our glaze. Now before we do, please do like and subscribe to the channel. If you are getting any value from the content at all, do share the link to the channel. Do like, do subscribe. It does help me out a great deal. And I certainly look forward to making more of these recipes for you. So what we're going to do, we have here for our glaze, I've got in my bowl 1/3 of a cup just plain water. And to that, I'm going to add a number of different things. Now most of these things, I mean all these things we have literally kicking around the house in the fridge or in the pantry, but all of these things can be found in the Asian aisle of your grocery store for the most part, or just go to an Asian grocery store and all of these things will be absolutely readily available. So we will start, in addition to our 1/3 of a cup of water, I've got 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. We're going to put that in. We're going to use 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce as well. And yes, I realize these are all dry measures, but it's the ratio that really counts. So as long as I'm using the same container, that's really what's important. I find that this ratio works really, really well for about 5 pounds of chicken wings. So we've got 1/4 of a cup of soy sauce, and we do want to be quite precise with respect to these ratios and these measurements, because otherwise it will throw the kind of the balance of flavors out of balance. So we've got our 1/4 cup of soy sauce. I'm just going to put this off to the side. I'm now going to use 1/3 of a cup. This is Shaoxing cooking wine. You can use sweet sherry if you don't have this on hand, but this is something that, because we make this dish as often as we do, we always have this. Great for a number of different Asian applications. So I'm going to use 1/3 of a cup. There we are. There we are. Put this off to the side. And now I've got, this is mirin. Mirin is a sweet Japanese cooking wine. I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of our mirin in there. That's 1. That's 2. And 3. Now I'm going to put in 1 tablespoon of toasted sesame oil. There we are. And now I'm going to put 3 tablespoons of oyster sauce. And the reason why I put my sesame oil first, now my tablespoon is very well lubricated and my oyster sauce is not going to stick. Otherwise this stuff is pretty thick, pretty sticky. So the order does matter. There's 1. And 2. And 1 more. There we are. And we're just going to make sure that we get all of this rinsed off so that all of these flavorings get into our glaze. There we are. Put this guy in the sink. Now we've got a few other interesting things to add in here. First thing, 1 chili pepper. Now this is a kind of a finger, not more than a finger chili, more of a just a red, just an overall red garden variety chili. These aren't overly hot. I'm just going to take the stem end off. I am going to split this guy down the middle, just so that the seeds get exposed to the liquid, just so that we can add a little bit of heat to that as well. We've got 1 cinnamon stick. I'm just going to break this in half, throw that right in there. I've got, this is what's called star anise. This is a pod. It's a spice that's very common in Asian cooking. I've got 3 or 4 of these in here. They'll give a nice warm licorice flavor to the dish. And again, I know what you're thinking, licorice. Trust me, everything in balance. Try it. Don't knock it before you try it. So I've got 3 or 4 of our star anise that we're just going to throw in there as well. I've got 3 garlic cloves. I'm just going to give these guys a very, very light crush just to release some of the flavor into our glaze. They're still whole, but I just want to crack these up a tiny bit. I've also got 3 thumb-sized pieces of ginger here. There's a little guy. And what I want to do is I want to cut this ginger up into rounds. I love ginger. It's great for your digestion. Very, very healthy for you. You can eat this stuff when it's done. I eat pretty well the ginger when it's cooked in the glaze. It's great for cleansing the palate. So I usually just cut these into little round chunks and throw these right into our glaze. When these are done, they soften up and they're just absolutely fantastic. I've also got about 10 green onions here. I'm just going to cut these up into probably 2-inch pieces, so something like that. Again, these are all things that I eat along with the chicken wings once they're done. So we're just going to cut these up into finger-sized pieces. Throw this into our glaze as well. And we are pretty well done. So all I'm going to do now is give this a quick stir. Make sure that our sugar is dissolved. There we are. So we're going to get our burner on. And all we're going to do is literally throw this glaze right into the pan. And we're just going to keep stirring this for the next, I'd say, 10 minutes or so. And as this cooks down, the glaze will get thicker. It will coat the wings. The wings will soften up a little, get a little more tender, and they will just be beautifully glazed, beautifully lacquered with all of these just fantastic, fresh, and a little exotic flavors. So I will let this go for about 10 minutes or so, constantly stirring, constantly flipping, and I will see you in 10 minutes. All right, we are back. It's been about 10 minutes, and our glaze, you'll see, is fully thickened up. It's coating our chicken wings absolutely beautifully. All of our vegetables have cooked down. Oh, absolutely stellar. All right, so we're just about ready to plate this up. Just gonna turn off the heat. Give these one final shot. So I've had these on medium-high heat for about 10 minutes, stirring these every probably 45 seconds to a minute, just to make sure that the glaze fully coats each individual wing. And we want to make sure that we don't burn these because there's a little bit of sugar in here. We've got a lot of really interesting ingredients that make this absolutely stellar. Now what you'll find with a lot of Asian food is it's very, very balanced in terms of sweet and salty and savory and spicy. It's known for that, but this is one of those recipes that really exemplifies, really showcases just how balanced these ingredients are. So I'm just gonna make sure we move this out of the way. We're gonna be serving this with, as I mentioned, just some raw crunchy vegetables. So we've got, sweet and sticky and hot, and then we got cool and crunchy, perfect contrast, and just a great way to balance out the meal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take our pan off the heat, and we're just going to get all of these chicken wings and everything else that's in the pan here right onto our platter. Oh, we have an escapee. Well, it's a casualty of the process. We're really cooking on this channel, ladies. So what we're going to do is we're going to get all of this onto our platter. Now we want to make sure that we take special care not to eat any of the star anise. We want to take special care not to eat, obviously, the cinnamon stick. It's a little crunchy. Might go down a little hard, but otherwise, everything else here is perfectly edible. So there we are. We want to make sure we get all of that glaze onto our dish. Now what I'm going to garnish it with are just a few sesame seeds. So what I have here in this container is just a mixture of white and and black sesame seeds. These have been toasted off, so we're just gonna garnish with a few sesame seeds. There we are. And we are done. So what we're gonna do here, we're just gonna go in for a quick taste. Now you gotta be careful, these are hot, but we'll just grab one here off to the side. Hey, get back here. Tender. Beautifully seasoned, beautifully balanced. Hot, sticky, tender, moist. You taste the sweet, the salt, the savory. Fantastic. All I can do is lick my fingers. I hope you try these. These are absolutely fantastic. I'm sure they'll become a favorite of yours, as they have become a favorite of ours. Until then, this is Coach Joe saying I will see you back on the next one.